In this episode, we introduce you to luxury river cruising, to true 6-star service. We are introducing you to Uniworld.
So join us on this episode as we talk to you all about what it's like cruising with Uniworld. The ship, the dining, the suites. We'll do a ship tour and we'll tell you firsthand what we think of Uniworld. It's our first time on Uniworld, so we'll tell you what we think.
We're Andrew and Leonie, and we like to cruise and travel.
Join us on our travels all over the world as we review a range of cruises, cruise lines, land tours, all sorts of shore excursions, and a range of hotels and resort holidays.
And remember to like and subscribe. Welcome to this episode, which is the first in a two-part series on Uniworld. This episode, part 1, will focus on introducing our viewers to Uniworld and giving you all a first-hand experience of what it was like for us to cruise with Uniworld.
Part 2, our next episode, will focus on the specific Uniworld itinerary that we took. A 15-day cruise in August 2025 from Brussels to Basel called the Belgium, Moselle and Rhine Grand Discovery. But you'll have to tune in for the next episode to see all about that. So, Uniworld claimed to offer 6-star service, true luxury, but is it? We'll talk about what we experienced and then you can be the judge.
First of all, our ship was the SS Victoria. SS in Uniworld language stands for super ship. The ship has a capacity for 110 guests. There were 87 on our cruise. There's also 51 crew from 12 countries, which I thought was pretty impressive. As for the passengers, there were 12 Australians on board, including 2 couples from Melbourne, Australia. We're from Melbourne, so who would have thought there would have been 6 out of 87 from Melbourne, Australia. We noticed a few Brits on board. There was an extended family group of 3 generations, which was super cute to see. I think they were from Bermuda, a Canadian, and the majority of passengers, therefore, were from the United States.
Yep.
It was probably hard to get an accurate gauge on the ages, but most guests on our cruise seemed to be age 70 plus. Now, Leonie, let's move to your first impressions of Uniworld.
Well, I had high expectations, but I came on board and I thought it was beautiful. The ship looked elegant and it was quite lavish. What do I mean by that? There were white Phalaenopsis orchids everywhere. I later discovered even in the pool. In fact, there's one in our cabin. So they're real, must cost a mint, and they're gorgeous.
They might own shares in a Phalaenopsis
orchidarium or whatever you call orchid growing places. What about you, Andrew? What did you think?
Calmness and serenity are key words that come to mind. Space. Our cabin itself was beautiful.
We're in it now.
Yeah, we're actually recording this from our cabin, and the view is of the Rhine River in the background.
Some little duckies coming up to the window that want to see what's going on.
So massive picture window dominates the bedroom. There's an enormous bathroom, the largest we've ever had the pleasure to cruise with. And there's a walk-in dressing room. And
bed faces outward, which we've never had before. So that's really lovely. You look straight out.
There's a bar. You could call it a mini bar, but I don't really think it's a mini bar because
it's
the bottles are actually full size. And if you were to drink them all, I feel you'd be crawling through the cabin.
Yeah, we're doing this mid-afternoon. We'd be having a sleep. You're a uniform lover. What do you? Well, I think you are. What did you think about the uniforms?
Yeah, look, they piqued my interest straight away. I thought that they were very different to anything I've ever seen on a cruise ship before. They were formal, they were immaculate, and I think they had the potential to give off an air of stuffiness. But the big engaging smiles, the big personalities of the staff wearing them immediately set you at ease. I thought they looked terrific and they acted in a really relaxed and welcoming way. I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. So overall?
Very, very positive overall. So let's talk about the stateroom or the suite they're actually in. In fact, why don't you give us your famous Leone stateroom walkthrough?
Pleasure. Welcome to Uniworld SS Victoria, Suite 301. This is our beautiful cabin, starting with a enormous, it could be bigger than king size, but very big, very comfortable bed. Beautiful decoration, flat screen TV. We've already shown you, or we will, how this window operates, electrically operated, so it goes all the way down and a fly screen goes all the way up. A beautiful shelf to rest on and watch the world go by as you glide along the river. Great curtains, sheers for privacy and really thick ones for light, so there's no issue with light. A lovely little table, it looks little but it's very clever. Folds out both ends to extend it, so it's useful for both. We've got 2 chairs. I'll have to take Uniworld drink bottle, we've got one of those each. Beautiful phalaenopsis, I think. Orchid, they're all over the ship, they're all white, they're all real. They're must be worth a mint, but they're beautiful. Never stop admiring those. Some pretty prints, and again that lovely panelling. Then we've got storage either side of the bed, USB ports, power points, collection of switches, one of those, I think it's this one, switches all the lights off at once, individual reading lights. Lovely mirror to reflect your view. Here's our little desk bar area. Cement kettle, I've never had one of those on a ship before. More power outlets, magnifying mirror which illuminates. There's another one of those in the bathroom. Beauty of that is someone can be in the bathroom and someone can be here and you've both got a mirror, so I like that. Huge mirror there as well. Water that's replenished daily, even though you can drink the water, the tap water. Some little goodies, they keep chocolates, they keep replenishing for us. Fruit, they keep replenishing. Cookies. Tea chest and the Nespresso capsules for the coffee machine. While we're on that level, these are the quiet box machines that we've used before. They're terrific for all tours so that the tour guide can talk into it. You put that in your ear. That's yours for the duration of the cruise. This is the recharging unit, really useful. More USB outlets and power outlets. Some spirits probably wasted on us, but some people would love. So whiskey, brandy and vodka, even lovely glasses. And there's some wine there too. In here we've got ice bucket and some crockery for your tea and coffee. Fridge that's replenished daily. Some beer and soft drink, tonic water. Amazing walk-in robe. I'll let you get in there, Andrew. Don't zero too much in on how many clothes we bring. Safe, drawers, shoe rack, full-length mirror, and behind that there's some hooks on the wall which are really handy to put hats and whatever you like on, so I really like that. And there's a door that shuts that off. And then we have the largest bathroom we've ever had on a cruise ship. We start from, there you can see storage, dual vanities, Asprey from London toiletries, beautiful shower, rainfall and handheld. Easy to operate, there's just a button whether you want the handheld or the rainfall. I really like that because it means I don't need my glasses to control the shower. Rail in there if you need that. Beautiful towels that they keep replacing with the gorgeous monogramming on the pillowcases too, I didn't mention that. Lots of storage, bin, tissues, there's some more tissues out there. 2 hairdryers, never had 2 hairdryers before. There's one in there that you can go and plug out wherever you like there, or there's the one that's fixed to the wall. So again, 2 people can be blow drying their hair together. Hooks on the back of this door, another magnifying mirror. And I think I've covered everything, but there you are. Fantastic room.
How big is it?
It's 24 square metres. It's very roomy. Carpet on the floor I didn't mention, except in the bathroom. That's lovely tiles. I'll show you what it looks like with the door closed. And obviously the bathroom door also closes. And heaps of room. Now you could put a yoga mat on the floor and do stretching. So a lot more room than we're used to, and obviously our bags stow under the bed so we can keep the room nice and neat and just look out that beautiful window at the gorgeous scenery along this most beautiful itinerary that we're doing. Moving from the cabin to the ship itself. Now, I know you filmed all areas. You've been a busy boy. What can you tell us about Uniworld's SS Victoria?
Well, deck 1 is below deck, so that's the Moselle deck. It contains the staff cabins, the crew's quarters, their mess hall. That's where the self-service laundrette is that you've frequented. It's also got a small gym or fitness room. There's the wellness centre or spa is located down there. It's also where the staff offices are and the engine room is.
Of course, you can't access all those areas.
No, you can't.
Unless
you go on the progressive dinner. More about that later. We got a real below decks experience
behind the scenes
that we really enjoyed.
Yeah. So that was deck 1. What about deck 2?
Deck 2, following the German rivers theme, is called the Rhine deck, after the Rhine River. It has the main dining room, a reception area, self-service coffee station with cookies, a water station where you can refill your insulated Uniworld branded water bottle with either still or sparkling cold water, a winding staircase and a small glass elevator or lift to take mobility challenge people between the floors.
Yeah.
And about half the cabins on board are actually located on deck 2.
Then we've got deck 3.
Deck 3 is the Rhine deck, which was our deck. It had the indoor swimming pool, guest staterooms, the main bar, a second dining area and bar that is called the Bistro. They served afternoon tea and early morning help yourself breakfast there. And it was where the main lounge room was and the main bar. It's where we had our cocktail hour every day. It's where we had our port talk, and it's where the entertainment the entertainers came on board and performed their shows.
And the wheelhouse, so where the captain steers the ship from,
and
that's there too. We did get a look at that. Again, reference back to the progressive dinner. And then deck 4, always one of our favourite spots, the sun deck. Tell us about that.
Deck 4 was the sun deck. It featured lounges and deck chairs, some undercover for shade and others in the open for sun lovers like ourselves. It was an amazing spot to sit back and watch the castles of the Rhine glide by. How many castles were in that sort of 3-hour?
I think 40?
Yeah, I think it was 40. What an amazing spot. It did get a little bit chilly, but Uniworld have thought of everything. They've got some uber thick monogrammed blankets that we may have had to use. But that's a great spot to see the castles of the Rhine and also the magnificent vineyards of the Moselle.
And there's a bar up there.
There's a great bar up there. The bar actually lowers completely into deck 3 when the ship's passing under low bridges, but otherwise sits up there with bar chairs around, and that was a great congregation place for a drink or a cocktail.
Was.
Leonie, what were your impressions of the ship itself?
I was very impressed. I thought it was lovely. Small enough that I couldn't get lost because, I do get lost. Big enough that it never felt crowded. There's always somewhere to sit on the sun deck in the shade or not in the shade. Always somewhere to sit in the lounge. Always somewhere to sit in the restaurant. In fact, tables to choose from.
There was an overwhelming sense of space.
Yep. No, I really liked it. So I liked the size of it, but I also really liked the look of it. I think decor-wise, the SS Victoria is elegant. Lots of white and grey tones, soft lighting, polished brass. It felt contemporary to me and elegant, classy, and in immaculate mint condition.
Yeah. It looked almost brand new.
So let's move off that and move on to dining, which is very important on a cruise or on a holiday. This was your 17th cruise, Andrew. So you've experienced a few different sorts of dining on cruises. What did you think about the dining experience on SS Victoria?
Look, in a word, I would say superb. The food service is something that Uniworld clearly takes very seriously. Day after day, we were blown away by the food served on board Victoria. Special shout out to the executive chef, Nikolai, who is not only an amazing chef, but a hell of a nice guy. The food was consistently well above average. some of the finest we have had cruising.
Yeah, I don't even think it's really fair to say above average, because that isn't doing it justice.
It was excellent.
Yeah, we live in Melbourne, known for its food and very good restaurants. If we had meals, we went and paid to a restaurant in Melbourne, what we consider to be a good restaurant, and had a meal that we've had here, we would have been very pleased.
Yeah.
That's a long way of saying it was really good.
And there was no repetition.
No repetition, which is, you don't want to be bored. You run the one ship for 2 weeks, so we weren't bored.
No.
Now, the main dining room has seating for all guests. You can come at any time during the meal service and choose your own table and seating preference. Mm-hmm. There were tables for 2, 4 or 6 people, and there were some larger groups, like that intergenerational one. The waiters simply moved some chairs around.
Nothing was too much trouble.
Nothing was too much trouble. We'd always have drinks before dinner, and people congregated, and if they decided that they wanted to form a group of 8 for dinner, they'd come down to the restaurant as a group of 8, and the waiters would move the tables and chairs around. So no, nothing was too much trouble. I think that was the key message. The theme on this cruise. Breakfast. In the morning there's 2 breakfast options. One is to have a simple light breakfast in the bistro, which is a bit early, about half an hour earlier than the formal breakfast, and you can get coffee and pastries there. The second option, one we went to each day, was to eat in the main dining room, where there's a full hot and cold buffet. As you'd expect, juices, smoothies, cold cuts, cheeses, fruit, cereal, a range of hot food items, which changed every day, but always eggs, bacon, the standard stuff. An egg station. And you did like the egg station, didn't you?
Yeah, look, again, nothing was too much trouble. I'm a bit of a goat cheese lover, and I asked if they could perhaps whip up an omelette with goat's cheese. Voila.
There it was.
There it was. And
there was always a hot item that was a daily changing special as well. So heaps of choice on the breakfast buffet.
Believe it or not, champagne is served daily at breakfast if you want it. And coffee on board is barista made.
There is a self-service machine too.
Yep, but there's actually a couple of points on board where it's barista made if you want it. Mm-hmm. So just on the coffee, we found that the staff were literally falling over themselves to take our coffee order. It almost became a little bit comical, where you'd have 4 or 5 waiting staff coming to you, particularly in the morning, asking if they could get your coffee. And it only took them a couple of days, but they remembered our orders as well, which was
because you and
really
I have
nice.
our coffee differently, and then they'd be offering us a second one. Yes, we could not say we were ever waiting.
Nope.
And that there was also little special surprises that could be made at breakfast. One time we were told about Eggs Benedict, and there we go, Eggs Benedict was presented. Other passengers we heard asking for fresh blueberry pancakes, and again, they were presented. So that's breakfast. What about lunch?
Lunch is not to be glossed over. In fact, some of my favourite meals on board were actually served at lunchtime. Lunch is served buffet style every day. Obviously, drink orders, it's whatever you want. Wine, cocktails, beer were all available as part of the lunch
that might not be obvious because we haven't talked about drinks yet, but we will shortly.
And orders for drinks were taken as soon as you were seated.
The lunch buffet consisted of quick bites, like some sort of sandwich, pulled pork sandwiches or chicken or salad wraps.
That changed every day. There was a soup every day that also changed every day. There was salads, meat, fish, vegetarian dishes. Every day there was a carvery. We had roast lamb. I'm particularly partial to that. That was really a lamb shoulder one day that was to die for. Roast beef, roast chicken, salmon encased in puff pastry. They were some of the carvery options. Some of, actually, my favourites were the schnitzels and the scallopinis, particularly in the cream mushroom sauce.
Yeah, the saucier knew how to make a
good sauce.
A good sauce, yeah. So lunch was fabulous.
Dinner on board is a la carte, and the dress code is neat casual. In the evenings, there's a request that there's no shorts and T-shirts. For gala dinners, jackets and cocktail wear is suggested. Most men wore a jacket just for these more formal occasions. But I'd say overall the dress standard on board is pretty casual, neat casual.
Yeah, I'd say it's smart casual at night. Probably the dressiest of the cruises we've ever been on, which I personally liked. That doesn't mean you need, sequins. And there is a fancy dress or themed night, usually on the cruise. On our cruise, it's black and white, which is easy. But check your cruise, because nothing worse than turning up and you haven't got something special. Dinner. Every evening dinner was 4 courses. Appetizer, soup. The soup changed every day from lunch, and so lots of soups over the 15 days.
Yeah.
So appetizer, soup, main course, and dessert.
that was always offered off a menu. So
Yes.
there was a menu every day.
Dinner, it was a la carte. Additionally, a cheese plate for anyone who had room, which meant 5 courses. And this is a cruise, so if you wanted more than one helping of something, go for it.
And we had people sitting with us that certainly ordered multiple serves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Regional suggested menu of the day, which changed every day, thoughtfully put together, and often was what we chose. Otherwise, you could mix and match however you wanted.
We sat on the table for 2 most evenings. Sometimes we had neighbours, we had a bit of a chat, which was nice because there's people from all over the world, and it's always great having a chat with new folks.
Yep.
We also joined tables of 4 sometimes.
Now, there were 2 special dining experiences we enjoyed on board. These were optional chargeable dinners. There's not much on Uniworld that you have to pay for once you're on board, but these were 2 things that you opted in for. The progressive dinner was one, and the chef's table was another. So tell us, first of all, Andrew, about the chef's table.
Yes, this was a private dining experience of 5 exquisite courses matched with wines, and it was all served in the vintage room, which is the private dining room on board. This was a white glove silver service experience, but we felt very relaxed and comfortable, and loved the window front seating.
Yeah, we did.
This room can accommodate 10 to 12 guests. It was a waterfront private dining experience that felt uber luxe, and the food quality and the service was exceptional. We had everything from caviar to scallops. The beef tenderloin was exceptional, and the Valrhona chocolate dessert was really a work of art in its own right, and meant all the more to us because we'd actually just visited the Valrhona factory in France.
Yeah, that was a nice connection for us.
Leonie, tell us about the progressive dinner.
All right, well, I don't want to spoil it too much because I think part of this dinner is the element of surprise, but it's a really cool below decks, behind the scenes experience as well as dinner.
So you actually get to go to parts of the ship that normal passengers can't go.
In fact, crew can't go.
Sometimes.
Valentin, the butler who followed us around, mentioned a couple of times how much he enjoys the progressive dinner because that's the only way he gets to see the engine room. So that was sort of cool.
Tell us
So
how...
we started with Valentin that I just mentioned doing the sabre opening of a bottle of champagne on the sun deck. So that set the tone for the evening. And then we rotated around various parts of the ship, having small bites in a few different spaces, and the head of department for that space talking to us about their job and their team, which was fascinating. So without mentioning all the places, we went into the wheelhouse and the captain spoke to us. We went into the galley and executive chef Nikolai introduced his team to us.
Yeah.
And we had something to eat there. And we went to the laundry, not the self-service laundrette, we'll talk about that later, but the actual laundry where the towels and staff uniforms and...
The commercial laundry.
The commercial laundry. And as I said, even to the engine room. So there was 8 of us. Once we finished doing that little tour, we had our main course and dessert in the vintage room, the same place as the chef's table. And we had a lovely chat with the other 3 couples that we hadn't really spoken to on the cruise before. We'd sort of seen them. So got to know them a bit.
And we got to know all about Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah. Talked about college, NFL and many other things.
Yeah, it was a good night.
It was a good night, really unique experience.
As a suite passenger, we also had the option of being served by our butler in our stateroom. So wanting to give this a try, all in the name, of course, of research for our viewers, we had a light lunch served in our room. Suffice to say, this was a genuine white glove silver service affair, complete with champagne. And again, this was but another experience. We were really starting to rack them up by now of more examples of Uniworld's 6-star service. Let's move on to talk about another impressive feature of the food and beverage offer, which is, of course, the beverages.
Indeed. Suffice to say that you can basically have a drink any time of the day, or night, I guess, on board Uniworld's SS Victoria. Drinks are unlimited, whatever you want. Be it a champagne at breakfast, a barista-made coffee, cocktails on the sun deck, a Belgian craft beer, a selection of wines with your meals. You didn't just have the glass of white and that was it. Mixed drinks in the stateroom, the choice is yours.
Our in-room alcohol and mixers were refilled daily, and on one occasion, my favourite Belgian beer of the cruise, unfortunately it ran out, and the staff were horrified that they'd run out, and I chose another beer. Next day, lo and behold, they come running and say, oh, we've got that beer back. Apparently they'd gone out and sourced that particular beer, and for the rest of the cruise, that Belgian beer appeared every time I appeared.
And then you're the Belgian beer bloke. Another day they had a special wheat beer that was regional or local to the area we're sailing through, and we were offered that. So that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, a lot of nice little touches.
Yeah.
I'd say that the staff actually go out of their way to remember your favourite drinks and cocktails, which is another touching aspect of the luxe service on board this ship.
I suspect that might be part of their training.
Yeah.
It's all about making you feel special. Well, that's certainly what we felt.
Well, if that is their objective, they're delivering.
Yeah, agree. Now, there's 3 bars on board, plus we've also got a private in-suite bar. As you said, not a mini bar because they're full-size bottles of alcohol.
A full bar.
Yeah, a full bar. Bar on the sun deck, one in the bistro, and the main bar in the lounge room. In terms of cocktails, it's whatever you dream up the bar staff can make. Nothing was out of bounds. We probably sampled a dozen or so different cocktails. Became quite a habit, the pre-dinner cocktail. A nice habit.
The lounge itself has a glass ceiling that actually spans the width of the ship, or partly the partly the width of the ship, which is really good. It means you can sit in the lounge and you can see up and above as well as sideways.
It spans the whole ship, the lounge.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And there's floor-to-ceiling windows in the lounge as well, which makes it really light, bright, and a great place to sit and watch the world go by.
Absolutely. The restaurant also spans the ship. So again, you've got light and views from both sides, which is lovely.
The lounge is where the entertainers are brought on board. They
every 2 to 3 evenings there was entertainment that came on board.
Even a classical musical show one night, which we
really
liked.
enjoyed. Yeah, and the black and white party.
It all happened in the lounge.
Yeah, all happened there. Cocktail hour starts at 6 p.m, or did on our cruise, even though you can have cocktails whenever you like. But I think the encouragement is from 6 to 6:45-ish, come, sit in the lounge, have a cocktail, have a chat, get in the mood for dinner. 6:45, cruise director Pete would give his port talk for
which is actually a really important part of the day, because you get to plan.
We always like them on cruises.
Well, you get to plan what the agenda is and what the timings are for the next day.
Yeah, and you'll give you a bit of a flavour for what you're going to see or something special about where you're going. Pete's been with Uniworld for 18 years, on the river for 25. He said it was his jubilee. Extremely knowledgeable. After Pete, the sommelier would address us and talk about the wine that was regional, that was being served that night dinner. And then dinner would start at 7. So we'd all process in our own time, down to dinner, and then go back to the lounge if you wanted to. If there was formal entertainment, that would start at 9.
So let's move from food and drinks to Leonie's laundry segment.
One of the best rooms on a ship. The free self-service laundromat. They supply detergent here. You just go to the reception and get a capsule. 2 washers, 2 dryers. The dryer's super fast. 15 minutes, I think, is the longest cycle. And somehow the clothes come out cold but dry. Iron, I can't say I've used that, but it's there. There's even a little TV to entertain yourself if you want to. So this is a terrific service. Something else on Uniworld, we're in a suite. That means we get unlimited laundry for the duration of our cruise. I felt a bit funny about that, but after a couple of days that wore off. The clothes come back beautifully washed, obviously, and pressed. As I said, that's unlimited. I believe if you've cruised with Uniworld before, you're entitled to 1 bag of laundry complimentary per cruise, and obviously you can always pay for laundry as well. But this is free, and okay, sometimes you might have to wait. Now you don't. All 4 are free. So just pick your times, and you can have clean, fresh clothes all cruise.
We could go on and on about the wide range of special services and features on board Uniworld's SS Victoria, but we just don't have enough time. So in terms of a quick summary, there is a small heated indoor swimming pool on deck 3. It actually has swim jets. So you hop in, flick a switch, work out the strength of the swim jet that you want, and away you go. You can swim against the current.
Well, you did that.
I did that. I really enjoyed it. It was a good workout. But my hot tip is to bring your own swimming goggles. As you can imagine, on a communal pool, it's quite heavily chlorinated.
And your eyes struggled a bit. So yeah, BYO goggles.
There's daily yoga and a stretching class, which we participated in some days. And it dovetailed into breakfast. So you could go straight from the fitness class to breakfast, and
and the fitness class on our cruise was in that pool area, which I loved because there was the windows at the back of the ship. So the windows look out to the river. If you're stationary, you got a static view. But if you were moving, you got to see the scenery as you did your downward dog. So that was good.
There is a small gym on board, but sadly, we never made it. We were just a little bit too busy. We did plenty of active things. So sorry, Jim. The spa, on the other hand, we did sample on board, and it was a professional, super relaxing experience. The masseuse is fully trained and has the massage room set up, very professionally. There's calming music and calming fragrances. I really enjoyed the massage.
Sorry, I was going to say there were those special toiletry thingies that were seaweed based. That was cool.
We could talk about the bike riding, because we actually really loved that. Both the organised tours that we elected to go on those tours.
Episode 2.
As well as taking the free onboard Uniworld bikes off on multiple occasions, where we just go for a private bike ride, both for exercise and just to have a look around. And I think those bikes were a really nice feature of
great.
SS Victoria.
Today we took the Uniworld bikes off the ship on a tour we just did ourselves.
Just followed the bike path down one side of the Moselle and then followed it back along the other side.
How far did we go?
I think we're going to end up going about 15 kilometres, but you don't need to go that far.
About 15 Ks through beautiful medieval wine terraces, and
completely flat.
Have a look at the jewel in the crown behind us.
Yeah, we're nearly back to the boat. We're in Cochem in Germany. Cochem is how it's spelt. And that's the Moselle River you're looking at. And just glorious. And this is the benefit of being on the Uniworld ship. They're free, the bikes. They give you helmets and away you go.
Let's talk about it. We're in the Moselle and we're on the Rhine. There are bike tracks both sides of the river.
Flat as a pancake.
It's like you can ride for an hour in each direction, and you're not crossing a single traffic light.
It was a perfect itinerary for bike riding.
It's bike riders' paradise.
Yeah, agree. And the other thing there was, which we didn't use, but we saw other people use them, Nordic walking poles that are available on the ship also for free. Now, before we finish this episode, we have to make mention of the extraordinary SS Victoria team, modern asset. Just to name a few, we had the pleasure of time with the captain, we mentioned that, Captain Mihai, with the hotel manager, Romika. He's been with Uniworld for over 20 years.
Go Romika.
Yeah, runs a tight ship and could not do enough for us. Pete, we mentioned, the cruise manager.
Pete was fantastic.
Yep, he was always happy.
Nothing was too much trouble. No question was too strange.
Seemed to genuinely love everywhere that we went, this whole area. So that was infectious. Executive chef, he's had a few mentions, deservedly so, Nikolai. Always smiling and ever so talented. Food, as we've said, was superb every day.
Then there was Valentin and Alexander, who were always beautifully dressed and were our ever helpful butlers. The reception staff were friendly. The lounge waiters and restaurant staff were, I can only say, next level happy. They were friendly and super helpful.
Just not fair to single them out, and we don't want to go through 51 names.
No.
But thank you.
And then there was an interesting one, the housekeeping team. We never actually met or saw them. They seemed to know when we were off the ship or having breakfast or dinner, and like spirits in the night,
invisible fairies,
invisibility cloaks around them. They would sweep in, reset our room up, and they were away again. So thank you very much to that team. What a great job they did.
They also took care of the laundry, that team, which I really did love. Thank you.
Now you saw one of the team actually scrubbing the staircase.
Yeah, with a toothbrush. So the little metal stair tread bits on the stairs are carpeted, and there's a little metal non-slip bit. And
I think that's just a really good example of how much pride the staff take in the upkeep of this ship.
Yeah.
No wonder it's in mint condition.
Yep, I agree. So we've established we love the team, the ship, our suite, the Uniworld service, but what about what we did every day? Our next episode will be fully dedicated to where we went on the cruise and what we did, so keep an eye out for that. That will be a deep dive into the actual itinerary. But we need to say something, and something now, and that is that Uniworld has one included excursion every day, at least, at a minimum. So that's an excursion that you don't pay extra for. Some days there were 2 included excursions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, or one at night. And there are a smaller number of optional paid excursions.
I think the big thing about these excursions was that there was choice. There was choice every day about what you'd like to do. You could go historical, you could go culinary, you could go active.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. We had 2 weeks and we got to chop and change between, and I felt we got a really good exposure at all of those of all of those things.
I did too, and in fact on one day, as you'll see in episode 2, we chose to do different things, which was good too, because we came back at lunch and each talked about what we did, and never felt that we were forced to do something. Of course, if you want to stay on the ship, you can stay on the ship.
If the tour was just outside of the town or away from where the ship was docked, there were the sparkling, fully branded Uniworld coaches that were waiting for us. These buses were meticulously maintained. They look and felt like they were brand new. They had a toilet on board. The buses actually followed the ship most days. So we had the same coaches, the same coach drivers. And I think this is this was a really important part of Uniworld's service offer, because we got to know the coach drivers, and they actually came on board with us and slept on board some nights.
And ate with us as well.
So they actually really knew what we were doing, and they knew the timings of the meals and what the meals were that night. So
not that we ever had super long coach trips, which was nice, but there were USB outlets on the bus, so you could stay connected if you wanted to. So let's finish where we started, attempting to answer the question that we posed at the beginning. Uniworld claims to be a luxury brand. Do we think they are? What do you think?
I think luxury means different things to different people. All we can do is talk about the experience we had and what we found to be luxe experiences whilst we were on board Uniworld, and we can go through those.
So what's luxury to you then?
Well, one of the things is that to me, luxury is having everything included. Everything. All meals, excursions, yes, that's a given, but also all drinks.
No, it's not. Excursions aren't always included. They are here.
Okay. All drinks, all day. No questions asked. There's been plenty of cruises we've been on where that's not the case. And
you're not.
And again, in the straw poll among some of our fellow passengers, the common quip that came up was, I like Uniworld because I'm not being pennied and dimed on the extras for drinks and whatnot. It felt quite luxurious to me, a luxurious service offer to have drinks day and night, anything you wanted included.
Do you think people took advantage of that? But not that, that's just an observation. Do you think anyone did?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. I think you could wonder if that was going to happen. But from our experience, 2 weeks on board SS Victoria, never once did we see anybody overindulge over drinking. Just was not something that we saw on board. Not once.
I agree, because I wouldn't have liked that. For me, something that felt very luxurious was the staff guest ratio. We were always being offered a drink, whether it was coffee in the morning or a cocktail in the afternoon, evening. Never had to ask for a second glass of wine.
Never had to put your hand up. Did you ever put your hand up for 2 weeks?
No. In fact, I put my hand over. So no more. So that felt very luxe.
I think another aspect of luxury for me is just the freedom of choice. Choice of included excursions, the option of having some paid excursions if you want to. The freedom to choose is a luxury to me.
Yeah. For me, another thing that luxury means is being pampered, feeling special.
For sure.
We've talked about that already. But a few examples: the pillowcases, the towels in the bathroom, the bathrobes, the slippers, they're all monogrammed with UW for Uniworld. I loved having laundry done for me. Please don't, come at me. I really did. I've had a family of 6.
You love the laundry.
I've done a lot of laundry in my life. For 2 weeks, it was really nice having someone do it for me, and it came back the same day or the next day, ironed way better than I would ever iron, ready to be hung up. That was very luxurious.
Another luxe experience for me is having the staff, and I mean almost every member of the staff, know your name. Greeting you every time you see them, knowing your drink preferences. That felt luxury to me.
Yeah. We felt very special. The whole butler concept, I don't know, I thought maybe I'd feel a bit uncomfortable about it, but I got used to it. It was genuine luxury as well. Wouldn't mind a butler, particularly someone to do my laundry at home, but that's not going to happen. But it was very nice for 2 weeks.
Sometimes I think luxury means being heard, and a really important part of that is they actually do mid-cruise survey.
I actually don't know if that's a Uniworld thing.
I don't know, but it happened on this one. Yeah. So mid-cruise, there was a survey went out, any areas of improvement or suggestions, blah, blah, blah. You put your name on it, your cabin number on it, and they actually spoke about it the next day about a couple of areas that people had brought up, and to be listened to, to be really listened to, and not have lip service paid. I think that's another luxe experience.
The letter that came with that survey, which you could complete with your name and cabin number or anonymously, the letter that came basically said, we don't just want feedback at the end of the cruise. It's too late for us to address any problems then. If there are any problems or concerns, please tell us now. And I thought, like you, I thought that was very impressive. So, to answer the question we posed at the beginning, in summary, this was a true luxury experience for us. Our first time aboard Uniworld, we were genuinely impressed by what we saw and experienced.
Indeed. This sadly brings us to the end of this episode and end of part 1 of our 2-part series on Uniworld. In our next episode, we delve into what we did each day of our 15-day Rhine, Moselle and Belgium Grand Discovery cruise. This will be a great episode for you to learn more about this part of the world, and it might inspire you to consider taking the same itinerary in the future. We certainly loved it.
We want to thank Uniworld very much for hosting us on this cruise. Obviously, we were guests, but all the vision, the footage that you're seeing on this video is ours, and the opinions and views expressed are 100% ours.
Yep, absolutely. If you have liked this episode, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to drop us a comment and perhaps share your experience with Uniworld if you've ever cruised with them before.
So with that, thank you for watching. If anyone out there was on the cruise with us or as part of the SS Victoria team, hi.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. And
we look forward to seeing you again.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.